August 26, 1928. Jesus tells Louisa, "Now, in order to rehabilitate the kingdom of my divine will in the midst of creatures, it is necessary that my continuous breath return into their midst, which, breathing over them, more than wind, may let the sun of my will enter into them, so that with its heat it may destroy the bad seed of the human volition, and man may return to be beautiful and fresh as he was created. And the flower, straightening up its stem again under the rain of my grace, raises its head again, becomes vivified, acquires color, and tends toward the life of my will, no longer toward death. Oh, if creatures knew the great good I am preparing, the surprises of love, the unheard of graces, how much more attentive they would be. And those who know the knowledges about my will, oh, how they would lay down their lives in order to fling them into the midst of the world, so that creatures may dispose themselves to receive such a great good. In fact, the knowledges have the virtue of helping to facilitate the human dispositions for a good so great. But human ingratitude is always the same. Instead of preparing themselves, they think of all else, and they hurl themselves into sin." Okay, so that's not the whole entry from August 26, but it's just the paragraph that I want to focus on now. Jesus says, if only we had like the slightest idea as to what he has prepared with his gift of the divine will and with its whole kingdom upon earth, the era to come, the era of peace. If we had the faintest clue as to what he has prepared for us through these revelations, we would lay down our lives to fling these truths into the midst of the world, to fling them. Now, I don't speak Italian, so I can't speak to the translation, but I'm going to go ahead and trust that this translation is good and that that's a good translation for whatever word Jesus gave Louisa. If you're flinging something out there, what is that not like? Well, that's not like kind of carefully picking away at it for a little bit, waiting until the perfect time comes along, maybe 40 more years, waiting until every single little person around you is okay with it, waiting until it fits perfectly into your plans for your life, and then just kind of making sure everything's absolutely perfect before you even do anything with it. No, that's all the opposite of just flinging something out there. Jesus is begging us to just fling this out there because he already did all the work with Louisa decades ago. The work has been done. Not only have the foundations been laid, it's like the whole house has been built already, but very few people are coming into it because not enough people are flinging these truths out there. We need to do what we can to fling the essence of these revelations out into the world. But he emphasizes this so many times because that's the case. I mean, to fling. So anyway, so back to this idea of flinging real quick. This isn't exactly the most perfect, polished work in the world, but this is stuff I had to get out, and I couldn't wait 800 more years till everything was perfect and the time was just perfectly right. I'm risking a bit doing this. I'm working on a PhD in philosophy at a secular New York institution. I teach philosophy at a secular New York college. Most people I study with and teach would think I'm crazy, and I'm completely fine with that. I really don't care. We have to fling these things out into the world. We have to do whatever it takes. No more excuses. We need to make it happen now. We need to get this knowledge out there in circles that it's never seen yet. We need to expose people to this. And I don't mean be annoying, by the way. Always be natural and graceful. I don't mean go around with a chip on your shoulder. And first, certainly don't present this to other Catholics with chips on their shoulder with private revelation. Just shake the dust off your feet. But bring this to places where nothing like this has ever been seen. It'll blow people away, and it'll do the work for you if you just fling it out there into the midst of the world. He doesn't even say that we would lay down our lives to fling these truths into the midst of the church. Yes, we want to do that, definitely. He specifically says we would lay down our lives to fling these truths into the midst of the world, meaning no holds barred, meaning we need to get this completely out there. We need to stop fretting about whether the time is perfect and the situation is right. We need to just get it out there. It's that simple. And never disobediently, of course, always within the confines of whatever the church has allowed us to do, certainly. But so long as we are not contradicting obedience or sinning, or obviously we never want to do that, but we need to get this out there, and we can't procrastinate anymore. So I wrote this book, and I made it free, despite the fact that it sure took a lot of time, because if I charged even a penny for it, there's that fewer people who would get it. And that would restrict how effectively I can fling it into the world. Now, obviously, the paperback costs money because Amazon wasn't going to print this for free. I get no royalty, though. I set the price as cheap as they would physically allow me to set it, which For some reason, the Amazon page fluctuates back and forth between 1264 and 1201. I don't know why. All I did was set the royalty to 0, and it's the smallest price they'd let me charge. So it's about $12 for the paperback, but it's huge. My apologies. I had quite a bit to say. The PDF you can download from crownofsanctity.com. Anybody who you think might be interested in hearing what this is about, send them to crownofsanctity.com. I have the whole PDF right there. And I've got the Amazon page linked to where they can order the paperback if they want it. So you can fling these things into the world by writing another book, which is fine, or you can try to promote this one to whoever will take it, or any other. There have been many other good. Obviously, Luis's volumes themselves are the best by far. But if you just slap down 8,000 pages worth of stuff in somebody's desk, it'll just collect dust for the rest of their lives. Now, I know mine is pretty big as well. I'm working on, I'll just say now, I'm working on a little something much smaller that will be kind of like an invitation into this book. I hope to announce something about more details about that in a couple months on my blog, which again, as Peter said, is dsdoconnor.com. I'll put a post there if you're interested in hearing about that. But anyway, this is my effort to fling these truths out into the world, trusting that once that is done, Jesus will do the rest. And of course, above all, we want to live in the divine will, definitely. That's the key. But our job is only begin once we're living in the divine will, whether it's on loan or continuously or anything in between. That's when the work begins. That's not when it stops. We need to get this out there.